How's it going, everybody? Ian back with another video. Today, I read two books in the past few days, so I'll be talking about those. And then I've got three books that I'm going to show you on what's next. And then I've got some books on order from the library, so I'll probably make another video next week. But let's get right into it. The two books that I read had completely different things. It was really weird how one book took a little bit to get into, and then it just amazing at the end. The next book was amazing in the beginning, and then like the second act was like, I don't know. I got bored and eventually just DNF it. And I'm sorry to say that because this book got a lot of hype, and I don't know, something wasn't meshing. So I had to move on, unfortunately. So the first book was Clown in the Cornfield by Adam Cesar. And this was the book that took a while to get going, but when it did, it was pretty dang amazing. I was pretty close to DNFing this, and then just read a few more pages, and then it started picking up, and then boom. So this is like a young adult horror story, I guess. But I don't even know if is it YA? Yeah, I think it was found in the YA section, I guess, but pretty dang gory for a YA, if that's what they're gonna call this thing. But yeah, this is like a retro slasher, like 80s movie in book form. And I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. It just it didn't quite make the 5-star because I mean, with all those retro slasher movies like Friday the 13th and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of character development. It's all about just blood and gore and the killer killing people in unique ways and awesome, cool ways and all that stuff. So yeah, the character development was pretty much garbage. But that's not why you read this book. You read this book because you want to feel that nostalgia. So yeah, Clown in the Cornfield gave it 4 stars. And I'm sorry to say it, I just am. I love this book up until, and I was looking on Goodreads, and a lot of people are saying they loved the first part of this book, and the second part just pissed them off, and it was like reading a different book, and that was The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I loved the first part. I won't talk too much because this is not a spoiler talk, but the first part was awesome. If you've read it, the first part, you know what goes on in the first part, all that fun stuff. But the second part, for some reason, it just fell off and it got boring, in my opinion. And the character kind of changed a little bit, and that was weird. It's like you were reading 2 different characters, even though they're the same character. But so, unfortunately, yes, I DNF this about halfway through, and just I wanted to move on. It was when a book feels like how I DNF things. If like, oh shit, I have to read that today. I have to plow through it at least to get to the next book. And if I end up thinking like that, I'm not going to do that. There's just too many books out there that I want to read that I will never be able to because there's too many books, and that is a problem of a bookworm. Is you're never going to read all the books you want. So I'm done. I'm going to get off this train. So sorry, Poppy War. I'll look for the next series and give that a go. I think that one's done. I think that's a 3-book series. All right, on to the books that I will be reading. So I'm going to take a small break, and when I say small break from fantasy, I'm going to be reading one fantasy book right now. What I'm talking about, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's just move on. You'll see. Okay, I'm just going to do it. Okay. This is Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. I'm going to read this book in March. This is the fantasy book I will read maybe that's what I'm going to try to say is in March, I might take a step back from all the rest of the fantasy because I'm kind of burned out on that, except for uh, the Wheel of Time. I will continue to read this in March. The rest of the books in March, and what I will show you when I get the library haul, are going to be more action adventure thriller, well, maybe just a palate cleanser. And who knows? I'm bipolar reading like that. Probably next week I'll come back with you and say I'm gonna start doing all this other fantasy stuff, and so just disregard this video if I do that. But it all depends on my mood. Maybe I was just so I picked up a sci-fi book. I'm gonna try that one today. This is W. Michael Geer's Outpost. This is, I believe, a 3-book series. Just try sci-fi. I'm gonna give a sci-fi. I have Peter F. Hamilton's one of his books, but I feel that's a lot of that's I want just an easier sci-fi to read, I guess, and that's pretty. I've heard that's a excuse me, interesting sci-fi book. Now I'm blabbering. And then I also have Empire of Silence, and I didn't want to get into that one yet either, so I just picked up this one. This has been on my shelf for a while. And then we've got an independent book, and it's basically, this is The Belial Storm by R.D. Brady. It looks like an independent book, so that's cool. Basically, what I read the back, it was basically, so if Indiana Jones is, doing his thing, looking for treasures, and then all of a sudden a super soldier shows up and fights him with like a superhero, I guess, shows up. So I don't know. This might be like urban fantasy, but it says here, a man with inhuman fighting abilities shows up and steals the artifact that they were about to uncover. And so this is just a quest on figure out what the heck is going on. So those are my books that I'm going to read today. So I hope everyone's doing cool, doing good. And we'll talk to you next week. I'll show you. I got 3 books on order. And hopefully I'll make a dent in a few of these books. Hopefully I'll finish. I want to finish this one by next week because this one's pretty short, 400 pagers. So, all right. Y'all have a good one.